Marco.
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I think I can see you. I think we are live. Let's see.
Are we live?
Right off the bat. Let's see.
Okay, let's see here.
Yep, we are. We are. Hello, Will.
Hey, Marco.
How are you?
I'm good. Let's see. This camera looks a little funky. Am
Get it
I?
set up, and then we will.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
We will unveil.
We're on, aren't we? I got Jack. I just sent the link over to Jack. He should be joining soon.
We are on, but all people are seeing is the graphic at the moment.
Bleedbigblue, a New York Giants podcast. I'll read it like different celebrities. So, Bleedbigblue, a New York Giants podcast. That's my Morgan Freeman impression.
I'm going to clip that one. Go ahead.
Bleed Big Blue, a New York Giants podcast. It's my Christopher Walken.
Pretty good.
Thank you. Come on, Bleed Big Blue. Let's do it. Come on. It's too late for my throat. It hurts.
And that would be Arnold.
Bleed Big Blue, a New York Giants podcast. I can't really do. It's too late in the day for a James Earl Jones.
I have a few bumpers. I didn't upload them all, but let's see. Do you know? Do you know this actress? Let's see if I can find it.
What's up to my boys that Bleed Big Blue?
Rosie Perez?
No.
And BMF Live. Hey.
Jack says, now what? That made me make an account. Can you just send? Do you have Jack's information? Can you send him personally?
I don't. Here, let's go to the front.
What's up, William Parker? Let's go, G-Men. People are already saying or trade for an OG. Better get DJ and OG in this draft. Let's go. I hear you guys. What's up, Peter Turner? There we are.
There we are.
All right, let's get
Jack.
We got to get Jack here.
Can I just text him the link or?
Yeah. Well, if he's going to join from his phone.
Boom, 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 boom. So what's up?
Very unprofessional. 2 days away. Anything Trump? All right. I think he wanted to
Bleed Big Blue, a New York Giants podcast. If you don't listen to our pod, you're fired.
Jack's joining from his computer.
Hey, Paisan. Okay.
So you got to email him. I'm not going to get. I'll text you his email address.
Okay. Sounds good.
But he said that I sent him the link that you sent me on Twitter, and he said it made him create an account and then nothing.
It shouldn't. It should not. But I don't know why the other one, but the link that I sent you earlier said the same thing. So Duke is excited for this draft. Best time of the year.
Let me just say, Duke, I can understand that, but I've always said this since the beginning. If it's the best time of the year, that means you have a bad team. Because I never cared about the draft in my entire life until these past 3 or 4 years, because the Giants were never picking top 5, top 10 consistently like this in my life. Even when they were like bad, like Dave Brown years or whatever, they were like an 8-win team, a 7-win team. This whole like 3, 4, 5, I know this year's 6-win team. This is not good. Like PFF or TDN Draft Network, they had a little list of like which fan bases have done the most mock drafts in preparation for this draft. And number 1 was the Cowboys fans. Number 2 was Giants fans. I think maybe Vikings fans were in there. It was all teams for the most part. No, Vikings aren't. A lot of teams for the most part picking early on. And the teams that did the least mock drafts this year were the Bucks and, the same teams that are actually good. You don't really give a crap about the draft. It still says event finished for him. I don't know what is going on here.
Did you send the whatchamacallit? You sent his email.
No, but I'm sending him the link that you sent me. Here, I'll let you deal with him directly.
Yeah. Dum, dum, dum. So Mike A is feeling Parsons. You know, I think it is down to one or two people.
You think it's down to one or two people?
I do. I think it's
Dude,
down.
how can you say it's down to one or two people when, as I reported today, just today,
Yeah. What did you report?
I reported, according to experts with inside knowledge of the team, the Giants will definitely be taking Waddle, Smith, Parsons, Slater, Pay, Phillips, and Horn at 11. We're going to be stacked because I've heard all of those rumors from inside people. So 7 of them are going to be wrong. All right, is the bottom line here. You got the email address I sent you?
Got the email. Just give me a second.
All right, so we got Pitts. Let's see. Tiki, he said the year we were bad. Tiki and Kerry years were bad. Feeling Parsons. Kerry Collins years. Kerry Collins went to the Super Bowl. And Kerry Collins actually was, I love the way he threw the football. I think Kerry Collins threw the best football of any Giants quarterback I've ever seen, personally. Spiral, pretty accurate, pretty much a gun for an arm. Actually throwing the ball, I thought so. So,
sent it.
Marco, who are the two people that you think it's going to be blown out in the Super Bowl? Correct, Nick, but they also won the NFC Championship game 41-0 against a team that was probably better than they were. So, that year was a huge win to even get to the Super Bowl. I remember Mara standing on the podium said, he said, they said we'd be the worst team in the history of the NFL to go to the Super Bowl. And next year, in 2 weeks, we're going to become the worst team in NFL history to win the Super Bowl. 98. No, was, that was 2000. Yeah, I think that was Randy Moss and Reed. Jake Reed was it, and Chris Carter and Robert Smith. And who was the quarterback for that? Who was the quarterback for that Vikings team? That was 2000, right? So it wasn't Cunningham. Was it Culpepper? Or I don't know who the quarterback was of that Vikings team. Anyway, so all right, let's hear it, guys. Who are you feeling? Who do you want? I want you guys to write. It was Culpepper. Who do you guys want? All right, so write to us, want and a name, and who you think they'll pick and a name. And we'll see if it lines up. And the most talked about person is Parsons. Everyone's talking about Parsons. People have strong opinions on Parsons. We're going to be joined by my buddy Jack in just a second.
Jack,
you guys hear me?
We can hear you, buddy.
Okay, we're moving closer. Now the camera is not turning on.
That's not your face with a J on it?
That's not my face. That's correct.
Okay. I want Slater. I think they'll pick Smith if he's there. If not, then I think they take Waddle. So you're feeling a receiver. Want Slater, Surtain leftovers from you're saying you want either of those guys, whichever one Dallas doesn't take. You want Smith, Mike A. So everybody's going offense so far.
So
take another weapon for unproven Daniel Jones. That's fair. People only want Parsons because he is a linebacker. It's been 40 years since LT. All right, so here's my take, Giants fans, and I want to hear your opinion on this. And if you follow me on Twitter, you might have gotten this already. First of all, I've been a huge – well, let me put this out there as a blanket statement here, okay? I'm more open to more possibilities in this draft than I have been in the past. And I think that's because they're picking 11. When you're picking 2 or 3 or 4, you have like your pick of the top guys. You can kind of figure out who's going to be there. And it's when you're at 11, there's more options for who might be there, who's not, who fits. And even with this team now, I think it's a little bit, there are a lot of options that could fit. How are we doing with Jack? Are we working on getting him on, or is this what it's going to be?
Jack,
I'm here.
Oh, we're not ever going to see your face?
I'm trying. I don't know why it's not turning on. I'm currently trying that, but I am here.
Jack, are you using Chrome?
Yes.
Yes.
That's usually my issue because Marco makes me use Chrome. But I want to keep the fans entertained while we go through our technical difficulties here.
Go ahead.
So I've broken this draft into 3 categories, players that I would be ultimately fine with the Giants taking. Okay. And I broke it into 3 categories of people that I'd be thrilled if they got, people that I'd be okay with them taking, and people that I would be the category of with the Giants taking. Okay. So in my thrilled category, and of course, not everyone's going to be there, so this is kind of a dream here, but I'm just saying in general, thrilled would be Sewell, Pitts, and Chase. All right. Those guys are arguably the best 3 players in the draft. We could use all of them, offensive weapons, someone to protect Jones. I think they will all be gone by 11, but those would be people that I'd be thrilled to take. The next category is the largest category. This category is what I call okay. People that I'd be cool if the Giants took, that I'd go, all right, let's do it. I'm happy with that. I'm fine. I was going to call it happy with. I'm fine with. That is Vera Tucker at guard, Slater, whatever position they want, Darisaw at tackle, Waddle, and Smith at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Those are guys that ultimately I would be like, all right, let's roll. Let's do it. I can deal with that. And my player, and this is where I got some heat today on Twitter, is Parsons. And then my little explanation is this. Anyone else, I'm not a happy camper. If our offense struggles again, Gettleman and Daniel Jones could be gone. And then we're starting from scratch all over again. We're the Jets, getting rid of Darnold and starting over. And I just think we have to right now give Daniel Jones everything he needs in order to succeed, so we don't have another situation like a Darnold where it's like, did he have enough by him? Could he? Was it him? Wasn't it him? If the Giants offense, they were the second worst offense in football last year. If they have another, if they're 27th or 28th or 30th in the NFL this year and they win 5 games, Gettleman's gone. A new GM is going to bring in a new quarterback, and we're going to have to start the whole thing from scratch. Okay. So as much as Parsons on my big board is the 5th best player in this draft. And it's like, wow, don't look at this year's team. They're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. Just build with the best players. I get that. But this is that 3rd year, pivotal year for Daniel Jones, where I do think you have to take something this year specific. And it's not a reach to say, let's take Vera Tucker, let's take Darisaw, let's take Slater, or one of the wide receivers. But I think you've got to give Jones every chance to succeed. So that's where I'm at. What are you guys feeling?
So
I'll go you first.
go ahead. You can go first, Jack.
So I'm all on the offense train with you, Will. I know we talked about this a little bit, and I'm definitely all offense. It's just the most important. Like you keep mentioning, the defense is top 10. The offense is 31.
Mm-hmm.
And I would want an offensive lineman. I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think they will take Slater and then move him to a secondary position. I don't think they're going to do that with a player selected at 11.
You mean switching him to guard?
Right. I don't think many teams would ever do that with a top 11 pick. That's the hard thing that I can't get past is why I don't think Slater is going to end up being an option for them.
I mean, I don't think he's even going to be there personally. I mean, supposedly he's
either.
OT1 on some people's boards, and there are about 5 OT hungry teams ahead of the Giants. So I don't see him getting there. But as I said on Twitter, and I know you somewhat agree with me, but you somewhat disagree with me. Every mock that I've done, I'm always trying to land Slater. Every tweet has been, I want Slater. If Sewell's not going to be there, Slater. But just lately, for some reason, I have been veering away from Slater a little bit. I would take it and be very happy if they got him. But he's not my clear-cut guy for this reason. at 6'3" with short arms, it could potentially be an issue for an offensive tackle in the NFL. It just potentially could. I know people say, look what he did to Chase Young, but there were plenty of games where Chase Young didn't have a sack. And so I don't think his legend should be elevated that much because he had one really solid game, going up against Chase Young. But to me, Marco, like 6'3" with short arms usually doesn't work at offensive tackle in the NFL. So then if you're going to draft him, I think someone like Darisaw might be a safer pick at offensive tackle because of his size, and he's an offensive tackle, and there's no debating that if you want to go offensive tackle. If you're looking to bring in someone to play guard, instead of bringing in Slater and moving him to guard like Jack was talking about, Vera Tucker is a top-notch guard. He's been a guard. He's an excellent run blocker. He's an excellent pass blocker. I have him ranked in my mid-teens and my big board, so not too much of a reach to bring him in at 11. And depending on who's there, I just feel like, why bring in Slater? If you're looking for a tackle, there might be an issue with his size and his length. If you're looking for a guard, there could be an issue transitioning him into guard. So I'm sort of I'll take it ultimately, and I think he'll be good at either position. But I'm starting to feel like if you want to tackle, Darisaw might just be safer. And if you want to guard, Vera Tucker just might be safer. So in a way, I'm kind of happy about that because he's probably not going to be there, and I'm sort of okay with that. And I don't think they're going to take Darisaw or Vera Tucker. But it's just kind of an interesting little philosophy shift that I'm having lately, where I'm not so sure that Slater would be the pick for me if they're going to go with an offensive lineman, which is a good thing because I think the other guys are really solid. Would Tucker be available at 11? I think he would absolutely be available. I think right now he's usually being mocked in the mid-teens somewhere. I don't really see anybody ahead of us taking a guard, so I think the Giants would have their pick there. Also, it's only an inch, but Slater is 6'4". Is that what he measured in at? 6'4". It's still, unfortunately, 6'4" is still short for a tackle, as crazy as that sounds. 6'5" is kind of that threshold, and he happens to have short arms, but that is, it is, an inch is an inch. But I thought he was 6'3" and change.
So as I was alluding to earlier,
and he is a beast, by the way. I know he's a beast. He's tough, but when you watch him in college, as strong as he was in the bench test, and as strong as and as beastly as he looks, he doesn't get a ton of push. Are we joined by?
What's up, Nikki? How are you doing, baby?
Oh, I thought that was Jack. I'm like, it doesn't look like Jack.
Jack is going to refresh and try to get back in.
Marco, I cut you off. What were you saying, buddy? What's up, Nick?
Jack is not.
Hey, Will, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Marco, I kind of cut you off.
So here's the four of us. It's almost like we should have nine people coming in and do the little Brady Bunch.
Jack's lucky because he gets to do the pod naked because he's got no picture on. I have no pants on, but that's
the page is accessing my camera. So I don't know.
Hey, Marco.
So, what's up?
Oh, we're going Brady Bunch style.
So,
Marco,
as I was saying earlier.
What's up, dude?
Wait, it's that way, right?
Yeah.
Marco, high five.
Ready? There we go.
All right.
So as I was saying earlier, I think it's down to two people. I think it's down to either Parsons or Waddle, and I'm happy with either one of those choices. I would probably take Parsons over Waddle myself, but I get both picks. I don't think it's going to be an offensive tackle unless, Sewell really drops, but I don't see that, considering the Dolphins are rumored to take him at 6. So
you think it's going to be Parsons, and you're happy with that?
Yeah, I see a lot of smoke screens talking about Smith and Che and all the. I don't see it, and Horn's even mentioned in there now.
So yeah, if they take a defensive player, I mean, like I said, Parsons is the best defensive player in the draft, so I could kind of potentially make an exception for that. But I just feel like I said, man, this D is number 9. This D was 9th last year. We added a corner. We replaced Tomlinson. We get Xavier for a full year. We get our 2 best pass rushers and Zimenez and Carter back, hopefully for a full year. So I'm not worried about the defense, but the offense, I just think they were so bad. There's a lot of question marks. They did nothing to improve the offensive line. I just think you need to put every resource you can into the offense and just see what we can do with it. They were so bad last year, but
Nick,
I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see. What are you feeling, Nick?
Nick, you're thinking Should I do a little projection?
I'm thinking anything. I just can't. If it's not Smith, I really don't want Waddle. I'd rather get protection for Jones, because then if we bring in somebody else, at least he's protected, the new guy.
Mm-hmm.
If we bring in Waddle and Jones sucks, what good is Waddle to our team? We're stagnant for the next 3 years. You know what I mean? So I just want somebody looking forward. Slater, like everything Will was saying, I was just nodding my head. He pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. Parks, what's the big deal with Parks? What are his problems? I thought it was like he didn't show up to a meeting or something because something serious was going on.
Nah, he was accused and acquitted or whatever, but accused of a couple of multiple incidents in college. He and other people of bullying, of even sexually harassing other guys on the team, or a guy or two on the team. He was involved in a fist fight where a knife came out. There, just a couple of altercations with teammates, hazing type of stuff. So,
give me that guy.
Yeah, give me that guy. Well, I feel like
I want him to eat running backs up.
Yeah. Well, what about how's DeAndre Baker doing?
He's on. He's doing all right, I think.
I just don't know if the Gettleman, he went to 2 pro days, not Gettleman, Judge, and it was Miami and it was Penn State, and so people are saying, oh, it's either going to be Phillips or Parsons, and then today Chris Sims comes out and he gives the Giants Jason Oweh at 11, at which point I would move away from being a Giants fan. So, I mean, who the hell really knows? I've talked about this before, and then I'm going to let other people talk because I've been yapping here, but I'm a huge fan of edge rushers. I've been dying for one. There's not an edge worth 11. Every one of them has a question mark. They're not worth 11. Corners, anything on defense. I just feel like right now we got to just give this offense everything it can. And Nick, to answer your question though, I feel like what does Waddle give the Giants? He's that quick slant guy that can take a little, guys in Jones's face. He dumps it off over the middle to Waddle, and Waddle runs for 40 yards and a touchdown, like Odell style used to do a little bit for Eli. I think that's sort of the attractiveness of Waddle, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of faith.
But you like Smith though? Nick?
Yeah, I mean, if we go any wide receiver, I would love obviously Chase, but I mean, he's not going to be there, so Smith would be my next one. It's just if Daniel's not the guy, right? Which is pretty much the consensus, I think, around here.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No,
raise talking to Marco too much.
Hold up. Raise your hand if you think Jones potentially could be the guy.
Could be the guy?
Yeah.
I think he could be the guy. I'll raise my hand for that.
Raise your hand if you think he could not be the guy. Hey, so you're just gonna? I'm just saying, we already dumped so much into it. We do only have one weapon. I was talking to Captain Negative on the messenger, and he's like, "We only have one weapon," and I totally agree. I mean,
who's the weapon?
It's Galladay now.
Oh, not Saquon, or Rudolph, Engram, Shepard.
Yeah, I don't consider those guys actual.
I feel you.
Not like Smith can be, not like Galladay is. Saquon, absolutely, but as far as Daniel, and I just don't want to invest an 11 pick on a guy that he has to get the ball to. He still has to get the ball to him. I'd rather him have protection to get the ball to Shepard, or because those guys can make plays in my eyes. They made plays with Eli. Why can't they make plays with fucking Jones?
Yeah. Are you Nick, do you know what Smith weighed in at recently?
No.
He's 6'1", a little over 6 foot, right? 166 pounds.
Yeah, you see.
And I think that is going to – I've seen him – I saw him mock the other day to somebody at like 20. Like I think I don't know if it's going to scare people. Full disclosure, my 8th grade football weigh-in, I was 5'6", 163. So I'm picturing 13-year-old me and Devontae Smith on a seesaw, and we're kind of just in the middle. And that's just freaking me out a little bit. I just don't know. I don't know.
Oh, you're really blowing yourself today.
I don't know what's going on, but You know what? Look, the guy had one of the greatest college careers in history. I remember Jack a couple of years ago. I was like, Smith, if he came out right now, I would take him. In the second round. He's just a playmaker.
He loved him.
He caught the championship, the game-winning pass from Tua. He's everything you could want. Great route runner, great hands. Seems like a good dude. Seems like he has good speed, decent size, especially amongst this class. Height rather. And the experience and all that. But then when I found out that he weighs so little, I just don't know, man.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be necessarily one of those three guys. There are other receivers in here. You got Bateman in there, and Jack, by your background, I'm thinking you're a Nico Collins fan, probably.
Wait, whose background?
Yes, the Notre Dame.
Nico Collins is Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Oh, I thought it was Notre Dame.
Nico's my boy. Who's Notre Dame this year? You got that. So you got, Jack? You've got like the linebacker, whatever his name is, LBJ, whatever his initials.
What are you talking about?
Who's the big linebacker from Notre Dame this year that's going in the first round?
Oh, Owusu Karamala.
Yeah, that guy, Owusu Karamala.
He's good. He doesn't really fit the Giants though.
Tommy Tremble, who we got coming from Notre Dame? Maybe Tremble, an offensive lineman.
Liam Eichenberg will probably be a tackle drafted in the second round. They got a couple of guards that'll be drafted later on.
Hainsey and shit. Okay, so
yeah, thanks.
So Marco, so you think they're going to take Parsons or Smith? No, or Waddle.
Waddle.
Yeah. And who do you want them to take?
Parsons.
Out of everybody that you think is going to be there, he's your guy.
Yes.
Okay. Jack, who do you think they're down between, let's say, two guys or so, and who do you want ultimately, realistically?
I think it's also between the two receivers and Parsons, and I think they'll go receiver. But just before I joined this, I read something interesting about the Dolphins.
You texted me. I got big news, you said. And I said, wait for the show because I wanted to hear it live. So hit me with the news.
So, and a couple days before the draft, it's still silly season, as they like to call it. Mm-hmm. But apparently the Dolphins might prefer Jalen Waddle at 6 over Jamar Chase. Mm-hmm. That's one thing.
Because of Tua?
Maybe that's something to do with it. Maybe they just like Jalen Waddle's skill set better. They think he's like Tyreek Hill. So I did just read that, and that was from I forget who. I think that was Peter King who reported that.
Okay.
And then the other one, this kind of hurts because you and I both like this player, but it actually might be a blessing in disguise.
Ojulari.
Did you read this?
No, I just know we both like Oju.
So his medicals came in apparently, and he has a it's in my text message. It's a knee problem. It's it begins with a D.
Dead knee. A dinged up knee.
Degenerative disease.
This is a family show, gentlemen.
You were dropping F-bombs, I'm pretty sure, Nicky.
No, there's a lot of things deep.
Let me go back.
Wait, he's got a knee problem?
He has a degenerative knee issue.
Okay.
Degenerative. That means
degenerative.
Degenerative. Yeah, it means it's going to continue getting worse.
Did I call that?
There was another player that I think was drafted last year that has that issue. I forget who it was, and it pushed him into the second round.
So are we saying that maybe the Giants could land Ojulari in the second round and we'd be happy with that even if he has a degenerative knee issue?
See, I don't know enough about degenerative knee issues. Like, I don't know if Marco or Nicky, you could touch up on that, but that can be almost off the board. Like, you don't even touch him.
It's basically an arthritic condition. He has like probably early stages of arthritis in his knee.
Yeah, it's like Gurley's knees.
Not good.
Like Gurley, yeah.
If that is indeed true, that's not good.
No.
I mean, yeah, but it doesn't affect us too much, I don't think.
No, like I said, blessing in disguise because that might take edge away from 11th, or we'll just lock in a Quiddy pay.
But wait, you think that they were potentially going to take him at 11?
I mean, I've read multiple things that they've done extensive work on Ojulari, whether they were going to take him at 11 or if they trade it back. I've read multiple times they have done extensive work on Ojulari.
So
it was a thought at least.
So wait,
Can I ask you guys a question? Who do you think, what team ahead of us is going to throw the biggest curveball? And totally.
yeah, I was just talking to Jack about that. I'm like, you
Yeah.
know, we got to
Someone's
start
gonna
talking about shock value because there's always someone. The Giants taking Jones,
I mean,
the
Dalvin
Oakland,
taking Waddle
the
would-
Oakland.
would fit that.
Well, I'm saying Oakland taking Farrell, Cleveland Farrell, or you know, there's always a team in there that just bumps somebody. And I was telling Jack, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody that needs a tackle takes Darisaw over
I think the biggest question
Sewell
mark
or Slater or something like that, or
Would a huge shocker be that the top three one of them doesn't take a quarterback?
ooh, but I mean, how would that even work?
I think
I don't think that's.
I think somebody will move up and shake the board more
I think so too.
than what's projected the board is right now.
Yeah.
If there was going to be any like curveball, I think it would be another team jumping up like
To 4, you think it will be the Falcons?
Could be, yeah. I read also today. I think it was today that the Patriots and the Panthers have talked trade scenario. I guess given X player is there at 8.
Carolina would have been my guess too. If anybody, it would be Carolina.
Yeah, I agree.
Trade out.
To
Since
trade
they just
out,
got rid of a couple picks for Darnold.
I think Kansas City's going to trade up for a quarterback.
They probably should.
I don't think this Mahomes kid has what it takes.
I saw a tweet today from one of the Freezing Takes. You know that account? They basically screenshot everyone who talks shit and then they post it later on when they're proven wrong. And one guy was like, "Oh, I'm glad the Kansas City Chiefs drafted Mahomes and saved the Giants from that mess." I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even know the Giants were in that." Like,
I knew the Giants were interested in Mahomes, but he was never getting to them.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Let's see. PSU defensive ends have had good sack totals in NFL recent history. Notre Dame, Tommy Tremble. Chase goes to the Bengals. Biggest curveball is the Falcons. Yeah, I mean, the Falcons are the first team that people, I mean, pretty much everybody is mocking Pitts to the Falcons, which is so nuts. I mean, like to just have it be a consensus that a tight end is going fourth. I mean, what's the highest a tight end's ever gone? I don't even know.
The draft starts at 4, though.
You think they wait on QB then, right? The Falcons?
I think what?
You know,
they wait on QB or
wait on one or take one this year, you mean?
no, like they would wait on one and take it next year. They're passing.
Right. I mean, I think I was looking at Matt Ryan, like his stats. He's getting a little bit worse each year. He's right about middle of the pack. So whether or not, I don't know, you know, whether or not they think they have a team that they probably should just take a quarterback, because if you're picking fourth, getting Pitts and someone else is not going to all of a sudden elevate you to being, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Matt Ryan at this point. So you probably should just take a quarterback, honestly, if you think about it.
Yep. What about Washington moving up to Carolina's spot to get like?
I've seen that. I've seen that.
That's a pretty big drop for Carolina to make, all the way to 19.
And then Washington takes
like a lot of teams. A lot of teams only have 20 players as first round
grades.
I saw that.
Yeah.
But was that, you think the five possible QBs that are going to go in the first round, you think they all have?
I bet you some don't. I bet you some don't have all 5 in as first round.
Yeah, that's what we do too.
Players.
Well, what did I see? Chris Sims, his mock, he has Justin Fields going like 30 to somebody. I forget who's even back there.
That was the wildest mock draft I've ever seen. You're right.
I know. I thought he was just doing it just to mess with people. Luke Walsh, hey everyone, 49ers fan here. Thursday we're picking a long snapper at pick 3. The world is ending on Sunday. According to Kyle Shanahan, the world is ending anyway. I don't understand what this means.
So Kyle Shanahan, just the other day, he was asked in his press conference, is Jimmy Garoppolo going to be on the Niners roster come Sunday?
Yeah.
And he said that he can't guarantee any of us are going to be alive on Sunday. So
he's finally gonna kill everybody.
Yeah, he doesn't.
That
know
sounds like a death threat to me.
Yeah, he doesn't know if we'll all be living, so he doesn't want to guarantee Garoppolo a spot on the roster. Which I guess, hey, Makes sense.
It is wild. The guy just took your team to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's just going to be, a non-factor. But
I think the problem with all this is he always gets hurt.
yeah, I know. So did we go around the horn saying what we want the Giants to do and what we think they're going to do? I know we got it. Jack, did you actually say what you thought?
Didn't say, and I've been back and forth quite a bit here because
Yeah.
my consensus has usually been Slater, but I just don't see them wanting to push him into guard when has only played tackle. So like I feel like it's almost unrealistic, even though like listening to Ronan and other guys, like apparently Slater is part of the 6-7 names they've heard in the Giants organization. I just don't think it's happening. I do want offense though. I do want offense just because it's so important for Daniel Jones this year, and the offense was ranked almost last anyways.
And you're a big Parsons guy, but you've kind of given up on that for the sake of the Giants.
I'm a big Parsons guy. He would probably be the only defender at 11 that they would take, and I'd be like, fine. I think he's a top 5 player in the entire draft, so I can't argue with it. I think he's a blue chip.
Yeah.
So if they want to go that route, I'm like, fine. But like we had talked about a couple days ago, Galladay gets hurt, and then the O-line's not that good, and guess what?
Yep.
Back to 31,
Yep.
and we win 7 games.
Yeah, if that. So it's like, I agree, it's tough. Nick, did you give us your prognostication, who you think they're going to take and who you want them to take?
Think is one of those wide receivers
because
I don't want him, and want. I mean, I'm not going to be greedy here. I will want Parsons. I will want the 13 Slater leftovers from Dallas if they're still available, and I'll also want to trade back a few spots and take Caleb.
Take who?
Caleb
Farley.
So wait a minute. So you just want them to take defense
or offensive line?
Nick, you there?
Nick's probably breaking up. Yeah, he said he would take one of the leftovers that Dallas doesn't take.
I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts to everyone on this cornerback rumors going around the Giants? That it looks like, and I kept reading today, it looks like a legitimate possibility. It really does.
I think there's just they're throwing out smoke screens.
That's what I said. That's what I said to Will the other day too, and which makes me nervous that they're just throwing out all these smoke screens, and then we're going to draft Kwity Paye at 11.
Because apparently Joe Judge loves Smith, right?
Devontae Smith. Organization likes J.C. Horn and get him in love Parsons.
Correct.
So it's going to be Waddle or Paye.
It's going to be Jalen Phillips or Kwity Paye.
Oh God. Turner says, "What do you guys think? Paye, Michigan at 11." I can just speak for myself, but I know at least Jack and I are pretty, lockstep here. He's a good, solid player, but he's not worth 11. He's got a lot of physical tools. He's not even necessarily the best edge in this class. I think he's, around like maybe the 20th or so best player, if that, in this draft. He's a little older too. He's going to be like 23 this year. He's like a senior or a super senior. So I wouldn't jump at him at 11, especially because, I just think it would be a reach, and I'm not even sure he's the best edge in the class. So for me, production's not great. I mean, he's got, his tackles for a loss and sacks and stuff. They're solid, but it's not as good as some of the other guys like Osai, Perkins, Ojolari. I think Paye is maybe third or fourth best edge in the class. So he's a good player, but I think it's a reach at 11. Let's see here. If 5 quarterbacks go top, Big Blue should clean up.
Well, if that's the case, they're guaranteed a top 6 player on their board if 5 go top 10.
Correct.
Guaranteed.
And probably the number 1 player at that position set.
It's great value. It is great value on the 11th pick this year is great value.
I just so wish that that Darnold trade wasn't made, man, because then Carolina's taking a QB.
Yeah.
Now Carolina's going to land an offensive tackle maybe or something else. So, But I mean, I think there's like multiple possibilities. Like I said, there's like 7-8 players that I'd be okay with the Giants taking. 3 of them aren't going to be there. Pitts, Chase, and Sewell won't be there. But Jack, how are you saying that the Waddle, let's say, if Cincinnati takes Sewell at 5?
Or Chase.
Oh, but you were saying the Dolphins taking Waddle over Chase.
Yeah.
So how would that affect the Giants in your eyes?
Well, it depends what the Bengals would do. If the Bengals take, if they take Chase and then the Dolphins also take Waddle, I mean, you're just pushing both these tackles back farther than I thought any of them would drop, or at least one of them would drop. Because then you got the Lions. You don't know what the Lions are going to do. They have no receivers on their roster. They have a ton of other issues, but they have no receivers on their roster. We kind of all think the Panthers are going to take a tackle, and then you don't really know what the Broncos and Cowboys will do. So, I mean, it could push one of these tackles back to 11, no problem, if the Dolphins are taking Waddle.
And one of these tackles, by one of these tackles, you mean Sewell and Slater.
Yeah.
I'm just a little worried about
past Detroit. I think if Chase is there for Detroit, no matter what they need, they're gonna pick Chase.
I'm just suddenly not thrilled about the idea of Slater. I don't know why. Because even getting a tackle, right? Yeah. You're gonna get a tackle, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna play him at right tackle, and then you're gonna just forget about Pert, and then you're just still gonna have bad guards. Or are you going to take Slater and move him to guard and just see how that works? Like I think we both talked about, if we're going to get a guard, I think I just assume Vera Tucker. But I mean, the question is like, where do all these rumors come from? Like I said, I've heard now 7 different players. We've heard them linked to Waddle, to Pay, to Parsons, to Smith, to Slater, to just, Horn. I mean, everybody.
Phillips.
So where does this stuff come from? Like, I always wonder, is it as simple as like Joe Judge is at a pro day and some coach that he knows goes like, boy, Phillips had a good day today, huh? And then Judge is just like, the guy's a stud. And then someone overhears that and it's, supposedly Judge is really high on Phillips. Like, is it as simple as that? Or is this actual intel that like means something? You know what I'm saying? Or is it like high school where, you push somebody in first period and by 9th period, it's, did you hear who beat the crap out of so-and-so? And it's like, that didn't happen at all. It just, the story gets exaggerated. You know what I mean?
I think with some of these reporters, like the Giants beat writers and analysts, like I think if they keep hearing the same name within anyone in the organization, that will probably throw that into the pool of players the Giants are interested in.
Right. So it happens both ways. Also, the agents leak to beat writers and also that, we've had multiple interviews over here, so they get a sense of that.
So, what was interesting I also read was back for Pitts' pro day, he said he met a lot with the Falcons. And I guess that's where the consensus of, the Falcons are probably going Pitts came from. And then just the other day, I saw that Pitts now thinks that 4 quarterbacks are going with the first 4 picks, which is kind of interesting. It's like if he's talked to Atlanta so many times,
and does he
have that vibe now? I mean, who has better information than the player who's talked to the team multiple times?
And wouldn't it be really rough? Like wouldn't you need a pretty strong, unless he's just like saying it because he thinks it's tongue in cheek and he wants to just kind of put a little distraction out there and make a little, a little drama, a little news. But wouldn't you kind of look like an idiot if you were like, the Falcons are probably going to take quarterback and then they take you? Like, I feel like it's almost like not like an insult, but I almost feel like you wouldn't say that unless you were pretty strong in that opinion or you knew something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I mean, we're hoping that the Falcons take a QB.
I think no matter what, all 5 quarterbacks go top 10. I think it's even better if 4 go in the top 4, because pushing Pitts and Chase back to 5 now
really opens everything up. Yeah,
it does. I think it opens up everything. Like all the possibilities are on the table now for the next 6 picks.
Yes, Grassy told me that execs are feeding reporters BS.
Well, wait a minute. We didn't even talk about the Chargers trade back tweet.
Was that
It's fake.
Photoshop?
I forget who tweeted. I think it was Lombardo said FYI that was fake.
Okay.
So-
I mean, so someone just created that to be funny.
I guess.
Probably just to get us people talking about it. Now, I know that prior GM administrations in the Giants, we don't have to go back that far, had a few people in positions that were leaking the Giants board. That's why there were multiple steals of people trading and getting our players. One person in particular, several times.
I did not know that.
Marco with the inside information.
Yep.
Did not know that.
I think the question is what player, if we had a choice, would actually net the Giants the most wins this year. Right. I think that like what player would net the Giants the most wins this year? How does that look? How does that work? I mean, in one season, how good can a rookie lineman be versus a rookie receiver, and what's the value there? Or just stacking up the defense.
You're saying, like, no matter who they pick, say that whoever they pick, they're actually as good as we think they can be.
I'm just saying, let's run a
how
scenario. The Giants take Pitts this year. Another scenario, the Giants take Chase. Another scenario, the Giants take Slater. Another scenario, they take Parsons. Which scenario nets them the most wins this season? Like, is there some, like, do you like an offensive lineman? Do they need a couple of years to truly have an impact? Or is a corner, a shutdown corner, impact right away? Like, what player nets them the most wins in this upcoming season? Or is it just the same as
I think it's super difficult. A position out of quarterback,
right?
Like equate many games.
I think it's probably the one position that we don't really want anymore because it's not worth it is edge, because we're so bad or so low on edge that if we put in an edge that's going to be an impact player right away, like,
yeah,
I mean, you're probably taking a defense right into the top 5.
But what edge is able to really do that? Even Chase, even Chase Young only had, Chase Young's rookie year was totally overblown. He had like 7.5 sacks. There have been like 30 rookie edges that have had 10 or more sacks, and he wasn't even close to that. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, the consensus rookie of the year, this and that." Like, I thought he underachieved big time.
I mean, he was just okay. I mean, he didn't blow anyone away, but he's also a rookie.
But you'd never know that by the way they were talking about him. By the way they were talking about him,
no,
like,
you're right.
All pro and oh my God, and the generational, and he's done things I've never seen before, and he's the leader of the defense. And I'm like, I don't know. I watched him a lot. He's good, but I didn't really. I saw him maybe take over like one half of one game. But anyway, so it should be interesting to see what happens. I mean, the order of the draft is the fact that Dallas is one pick ahead of us is killing me. I don't want them to poach somebody that we want. Hopefully, they just grab Surtain and get out of our way and just let us do what we want. But it should be interesting. I don't know who I think it's down to, really. I mean, if you believe the reports, Marco, pretty much all I'm hoping that it's not. My big wish, I said a couple weeks ago, my only wish for this draft.
And someone in the comments asked about him. But Pay, you are not hoping that it's Pay.
I said my biggest wish is that I hope it's not Pay. But then recently,
that's what I'm nervous about.
But then recently, now that I didn't even think corner was something I'd have to pray against, but now that I'm hearing corner is a possibility, I'm like, okay, now I got to just add the blanket statement. I hope we don't take any defensive player at 11.
Well, I would take one of those corners 10 out of 10 times over Kwity Paye. 10 out of 10 times.
Yes, I have them ranked higher than Paye.
Corner with signing Jackson.
The only thing I could say about corner, and it's still more important for the offense, is that we're not competing next year anyways for a Super Bowl. Maybe the division, depending on how it plays out. So if we're looking 2 to 3 years down the line, that means James Bradbury is already in his 30s. How good is he going to be in his 30s? Most corners are not that good in their 30s. So if they ended up taking like J.C. Horn, and then in 2 years you have both Adoree Jackson and J.C. Horn still in their 20s, when you hope to be an all-around better team competing, then it kind of makes sense. I still don't want that to be the pick, but it kind of makes sense when you're looking at when the Giants realistically can be a Super Bowl contender, which I would say is at least 2 years away.
But my problem with that is who's your quarterback? Because if that's their draft pick, if they don't address offense this year, then Gettleman and Jones have like a 50-50 chance of being gone, I think.
I think
That's
it's fair, but they could also, they could also do well. I mean, if the offensive line stays, improves massively, and as I've said, if the Giants' offensive line could even be average this year, they're going to have a winning record, in my opinion. If they stay healthy and the offensive line could even be average.
So Tim joined. Tim,
what's up, Tim? And I actually have to run. I got to run fairly in a little bit, so I want to greet Tim and hear what he has to say, but I can't be up here for too much longer. So Tim, how you doing, buddy?
I've got like 20 minutes and I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, here. Tim, how you feeling? What pick are you feeling?
I'm doing. I've told you, man. I've been feeling Jalen Phillips for the past few weeks.
Feeling like you want, or feeling like you think that's what they're going to do?
I think that's what they're going to do. I wouldn't have a problem with it. I'd rather have Parsons if I had my choices of defenders.
If Phillips didn't,
but again, I have no problem. Yeah, but the thing is, he isn't. The concussions came from like a car accident, and he hasn't had any issues in 2 years.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, dude,
if it wasn't for the medical issues, he's the top edge by far.
That's such not a true statement. That he's the top edge by far.
I would agree he's the top edge. Weren't there. I've read that.
He didn't have. Okay, Owe had a better combine, a better pro day than he did. Ojulari, Osai, Perkins had better production than he did. Yes, I think he's a top 3 guy, but I don't think you could say he's by far. In what matrix? He didn't have the most tackles for a loss. He didn't have the most sacks. He didn't have the best pro day. He didn't play the toughest schedule. Name one statistic that makes him the best by far edge in the class.
He's got the only reason that he's not talked about as a top 5 pick is the medicals. Which
as a top 5 pick?
Yes.
I've read that he could have
he's got the size. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's got everything you would ask for as far as talent, and he was a top recruit.
Right, I understand.
So he's been known for a long time.
He hasn't had a concussion in like 2 years, right?
That's right.
Right. So then how come in the last 2 years he has not emerged as the best edge in the class by far? He doesn't have the most sacks. He doesn't have the most tackles for a loss. He doesn't have the most tackles. He's not even playing the top competition. So if he's by far the best and he's been healthy for 2 years, how come he hasn't dominated college football? He wasn't even the best player in his own team 2 years ago when Rousseau played. Rousseau had a million times more sacks and tackles for a loss than
now, how many times does the second guy get the sack? Let's be honest. As far as Rousseau, like Rousseau's got talent and he's got the size, but guess what? Main people were focusing on Phillips, so Rousseau got the single man coverage and got a lot of sacks.
You're entitled to your opinion, and I'm not saying he's not the best edge in the class. I think you could argue that, but saying he's by far the best and saying that without the concussions, he'd be top 5 player in this draft. So you'd go, Sewell, Chase, Trevor Lawrence, and him right after them. I think you're overdoing it a little bit. But he does have the concussion issues, and whether it's a car accident or he hit himself in the head yo-yoing, the bottom line is he's potentially one hit away from retiring from the NFL at 23 years old.
Well, be honest with as far as that goes, everybody's one hit away from being retired out of the NFL. Not true, because concussions usually after very few people retire after one concussion. Very few people stay playing after 3 or 4 concussions, and they get easier and easier to get every time you get them, a la Troy Aikman, this and that. So I totally agree with that. But the thing is, all the guys, everybody in the NFL has had a concussion. Let's be honest, because just because it doesn't get reported, or they might not even say anything, they're getting concussions.
It would just be hard for me to spend the 11th pick on somebody who has already retired from football once before. because of injuries. That just, to me, that sentence, I can't do that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't do that.
What is the story after the car accident? Then he retired and then came back?
He medically retired for a short period.
Well, he couldn't have gotten 3 concussions in one car accident. I heard he got 3 concussions and then retired like freshman year of college or something. So
whatever the thing is, I'm just that's my feeling as far as what I think the Giants.
You think they're going to do it? All right, interesting. And I heard someone say that they. And look, I like Phillips. I'm nervous about that. I don't think you put the 11th pick on someone like that. I can't.
Well, in an ideal world, I would love them to trade down a few picks, then get Phillips. Ideally.
Yeah, but I just don't want Phillips personally. I don't know. Would you, Jack? Would you take Phillips in the first round wherever you were? Would you be able to pull that trigger? Well, if you're in the top 20, would you be able to pull that trigger, or would you just rather take, Ojulari, Pay, or Osai? Would you rather, or would you take the guy you think is better but potentially has concussion issues?
If I'm 15 through 20, and what I just told you guys about Ojulari is true, I'm probably taking Phillips as the first edge rusher off the board. Still.
Marco, does that scare you, the concussions? Is it just me that it scares?
It scares me too, but if I'm a little later, I would take that risk. At 11, I would not.
So I would risk it in the mid-20s.
I don't know the full story. Medically, I don't see why you would get necessarily multiple concussions, and it's usually a single concussion. I don't think you get chain ones after an event. You could have symptoms like headaches along that line, blurry vision.
I think he's just gotten at least a couple concussions, like in separate situations.
Right.
Like the car accident or whatever. I don't even really know the details about that, but that may
I never heard of that before.
Just the second or third time he's actually gotten a concussion. And after that, he was like, I have to medically retire.
Right. But
that's interesting. All the medicals, let's be honest, just if the doctors clear them, I'm cool. If they don't, then, whatever. Then pass.
That's true, because they literally have like the reports and physical assessment going based on like rumors.
I also just think it's very rare for edge rushers to get concussions. I mean, I've never really heard of that. That's why it's so alarming to me that I thought he had 3 of them. But I'm trying to read up on it now a little bit.
But the guy's 260. He ran a 4.4.
Yeah, well, everybody ran a 4.4 this year.
Yeah.
Well,
I understand that. Yeah, the college. I understand that, but even if he ran a 4.5.
No, he had the second best pro day. He had the second best pro day in my estimation of any edge, next to Jason Owe, whose production is just not there. Phillips and Osai had the next best pro days. Osai was a little bit better than Kwity Paye, actually.
I don't know why the experts just do not like Osai. He is never talked about. I saw someone had him, and I forget, it was a known guy that we probably all follow, had him 8th on their board for just edge rushers alone.
Well, he's never been in like Jeremiah's top 50. He's like a lot of these PFF and stuff. They have him in like in the 50s and 60s. And
but his production was decent, and he had a really good pro day. I just don't really understand. Even if his run defense is not that great.
You said his production was decent?
It wasn't the best.
Oh, it was his production. Besides Ronnie Perkins, his production, when you look at his tackles for a loss, sacks versus level of competition, he was the only guy who put together 2 years at the top level of edge defenders when it came to those. I don't
understand. And he's 21 years old. I don't understand why
21
has him like at least at the end of the first round, early second.
I saw one mock that had him at 17, and I was like, all right, that might even be a little high. But to me, he's one of the guys that I absolutely love, and I've talked about this. He's the energy. He's not necessarily football savvy. He gets knocked in his ass a lot. He's kind of like, what'd you say?
He has that high motor that
he does. He runs around. He'll get knocked in his ass more than any edge should get knocked on their ass. But it's just like he's not aware of shit, and people will just block him and then like knock him into. He's like a pinball machine. But at the end of the day, with his athleticism and his motor, I'm telling you, like watching him play against Oklahoma State was the perfect, sort of microcosm of what he is. He was going up against Jenkins, who's a first round offensive tackle now. He's like one of these guys who's 50 years old. And Osai got dominated on like a handful of plays, and he looked like a little kid out there. I'm like, oh my God. But at the end of the day, he had like 2 sacks, a tackle for a loss, a forced fumble, a recovered fumble. And in the last play of the game in overtime on 4th down, he had the game-winning sack running around the edge on Jenkins to get the sack and literally tackle the quarterback and then the players run on the field and celebrate. So I think people look at his flaws and they're just like, he's not great against the run. His technique isn't great. He's very raw. But to me, like people talk about, I've seen him falling to to 42, being available at 42 in most mocks. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That is a slam dunk for the Giants.
Well, from what you just said, Will, and I'm just going by your comments right now.
Yeah.
You just told me he got dominated in a game.
No, on certain plays. On certain plays.
He's not football savvy and he doesn't know what's going on. But you don't think you think he should be a first round pick?
Yeah, because given all that, his tackles for a loss, his sacks, and his level of competition were as high as anybody. He's extremely young, and I'm saying he's got some bad plays, but he has as many good plays as anybody else in college football. He's 2 years younger than a lot of these edges, than the Roches and the Weavers and the Pays and these guys. So what I'm saying is there are like 5 or 10 plays in each game where he'll look really bad. But when you check the end of the game and look at the highlights and look at the score sheet, the total, he's extremely disruptive. He might be like a Yannick where he's just coming off the edge and he'll tackle guys 20 yards downfield and cause a fumble. Like I just think at 42, you know what he is? He's a playmaker. He's a playmaker on defense with, I think, an extremely high ceiling. And I would jump at him or Perkins at 42 personally.
I almost don't even want him to be there at 42. Because
if they don't take him, it's going to piss us off.
It's going to be the end of the world to me.
Do you anticipate him slipping to the second round?
I don't know. I've seen him mocked everywhere. The highest I've seen was mid-first. He usually doesn't go in the first round. And I would say it's 50-50 most that he drops. And I like him. And you know what I like about him too? The way he tackles, and I'm not comparing him to this guy. I know today was 40 years since the Giants drafted this guy. He tackles. He reminds me of LT when he tackles. The way he explodes into the tackle. He wraps his arm around you. He puts an arm or a helmet on the ball. I just think there's a lot to like there. And I think he's a guy that should go in the first. And I just keep being shocked that he's always dropping to the Giants. It's like not even a thing. Every mock I do, I take him at 42. He's always there. And I just don't anticipate that being, he's one guy. We'll see what happens, but I think he should be a late first rounder.
Gilligan has traded up to go early second round to people. It didn't work out. But.
I don't think he's making it to 42.
The one thing you guys got to realize too about the draft, and you guys know this, it's the thing about the people that are high on lists but are not getting talked about, that are going to get drafted way higher because no one wants to say anything about them. The one guy I think is that's really not getting talked about at all, but was high on the list in the beginning is Kwity Paye. I'm not even a big fan, but I think he's going to go higher than what people think.
Well, pretty much everybody had him as edge one until pro days came along, and then all of a sudden Phillips jumped ahead of him, and for some people, Ojulari. But I think overall right now, if you look at most big boards, Kwity Paye is edge one, and most people have him going. I've seen him as high as top 10. I think on average he goes 15.
I've seen him mocked to us a lot of times.
Yeah, so I don't think that's necessarily a shock, and I'm afraid they're gonna take him, and I'm not a huge fan. I'm reading here. I think he's solid. I just don't think he's 11. I'm reading here. It says about Phillips that retirement was in large part due to concussions. He suffered a rash of injuries in his college career, including a moped accident that necessitated 2 surgeries, delayed his start to the 2018 season. This says also, in addition to his moped 2 surgeries, he also suffered 3 concussions, including one that ended his 2018 season in October. After UCLA team doctors wouldn't clear him, he started thinking about how much he put his body through. So I don't know that they're necessarily related, but every report says he suffered 3 different concussions. So I don't know, man. It's just at 11,
That's
3 concussions. I'm just not doing it. I don't think he's worth it anyway. And I don't think it's necessarily this team's number one need. Jones and the offense have to have as good a year as possible, or we're going to have to reset the whole damn thing and go Darnold on it. And I just don't want to do that. So, in my opinion, let's just flood the offense.
I'm cool with the offense getting picks, and I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of wide receivers in this draft.
Yep.
To take one that high, I almost think you don't need to.
That's fair. I understand that. That's Jack's philosophy usually.
Yeah, that's usually my philosophy too.
But and I understand the Slater talk, but I don't see it. They're not moving Pert. They took Pert in the 3rd. They believe in the kid. They're gonna take a guard. I'm just like you guys. Take Elijah Vera-Tucker if you're gonna take a guard.
Yeah, I don't know if you watch him from the beginning.
If you're gonna take a guard early, but
Tim, Duke, were you watching?
I want to see your guys' answer on that.
What happened?
Duke has a pretty good question. I'm curious on what your guys.
Read it to us, Jack.
Yeah,
figured you can read. If we go
the listeners.
If we go wide receiver in the 1st and have a similar graded pass rusher and O lineman when we pick in the 2nd round, which one do we prefer? The lineman or the edge rusher?
My heart tells me the edge rusher, and my head tells me the offensive lineman. I want, like, if Creed Humphrey and Joseph Asai are there in the 2nd round, it would just kill me not to get. I just want a pass rush so damn bad. But the smarter thing to do would probably be to take the offensive lineman.
I think I would take an offensive lineman too. I think the Giants would take the pass rusher.
I think the Giants have been hearing pass rusher for so long that they're just going to push the button on whoever the hell's there whenever they go.
Offense in round 1, I think we all know they want to upgrade the pass rusher. I think that's what they would do. I would go O lineman.
I go pass rusher. That's me though, because the O line, and I see what Gettleman and all those guys do in the past is they'll take them in 3rd, 4th round, or they'll take an undrafted guy. Gettleman's already taken 2 undrafted guys and turned them into Pro Bowlers, or not. Well, Nick Gates will get there. But I'm talking like Andrew Norwell.
Norwell, yeah.
And you can pick up guards later. It's proven. It's proven. It's not just in our drafts. You can look at any other team.
What about you, Marco? Who would you take?
I would go offensive lineman, knowing that the defense is pretty much coming back intact, minus Tomlinson. They were 9th. We added
another corner. Yeah.
Xavier for a full year.
Yeah, right, Xavier.
That's where my mindset is too.
Zimenez, Carter.
Hopefully they come back. And Leo has another year. And go with the offensive lineman. You gave Daniel Jones weapons in free agency, weapon in the draft, and protection. It's his make or break year.
So much is going to depend on injuries and everything, and what Ross looks like, what Rudolph looks like, what kind of a year Evan Ingram has in a bounce back year. What Galladay, can Saquon stay on the field? It's going to be the offensive line. Are they going to improve, or are they just going to be trash? Like, there's so much unknown. It's just unreal. I mean, like, in a weird way, the most like predictable fall back on part of the offense is almost Daniel Jones. Like, yeah, he'll be okay. Like, everything else, I have no clue how it's going to be. If Jones, I'm like, yeah, he'll make some good passes. It's tough, true. But I don't know. I think I'm not sure what I would even want. If you said, Will, you can have, Sewell, Pitts, and Chase are gone. Who do you want at 11? I don't even know what I would do. I honestly feel like I would take Vera Tucker and then maybe a wide receiver in the second round, like a shifty little guy, like a Tony or a Nico or a Marshall, something like that, and then just grab a pass rush. I'm not that concerned. As much as I love pass rush this year with this Giants team, I'm not that concerned with it. I think that might be my pick, honestly, and I don't think they'll do it.
Everything this year, we're not going to fix everything.
Honestly,
we're not what?
We're not going to fix everything. So if they need to put off pass rusher for a year, then that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Right. And the defense was able to function without a pass rush from being generated from the defensive line. The offense is not able to function given the weapons and the time that Jones has. So that's the bigger problem.
Jerry Reese say you can never put together a perfect roster. So
true.
Try to win. But
I got to run, fellas.
All right. No problem. No problem.
I don't know if anyone else is joining me.
I should join you. I got to get up pretty early for work.
All right. Go Giants. This has been awesome. Of course, Duke has one more question where she's going to suck me in here. What player would be the biggest upgrade over the starter that they would be replacing? Because I think Parsons is the answer. He's much better than Tay Crowder. Well, I think Sewell over Pert.
I think Parsons over Tay Crowder.
I think Pitts over Ingram.
Ingram's the Pro Bowler. What are you talking about?
I think, Brad Pitt over Ingram. But yeah, I guess Parsons. Parsons is a stud. We could use that position. Absolutely. You make the defense really good, but Parsons overrated. I'll let you guys handle that one. It could be. He could be. You never know. Could someone shock somebody and take Zaven Collins over Parsons in the draft? Who knows? I've been seeing Parsons.
Guy. That's my guy.
Parsons is Zaven. Yeah.
Zaven Collins is my guy.
All right, guys. I'll see you soon.
All right. Well,
talk to you later.
Later.
Thanks, Martha. Thanks for having me on. I'm gonna head out myself. Tim, catch ya.
All right, man. Later.
You guys.
Timmy, me and you, my friend.
Hey, I'm doing all right, man.
Are you currently at work?
At work, I'm at home. No, I'm not working right now. The draft stuff. I was gonna start arguing with Will just to mess with him because you saw that I put the little PFF stuff.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? The simple thing is that people just gotta stop overthinking it. Look at the stats. It's the eye test because the stats can get manipulated. For example, he kept pulling up Ronnie Perkins. The problem with the Big 12, they pass like every down. So how many chances do you get to get sacks a game? And it's like wide open offenses. I mean, it's people rolling out. So is it count as a sack because the quarterback rolled into him? Stuff like that. Right. So stats get manipulated. So the biggest test is when they go against other pros and see how they play against them.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's all hard. If the Giants, for example, I keep saying Jalen Phillips. If Jalen Phillips gets picked by the Giants, I'm assuming that Giants doctors cleared him. So that's the only thing I'd be worried about.
Yeah, I would assume that as well.
So, I mean, it's a 6 foot guy, 6'5", 260, runs like a 4.4. Guess what? I'm cool with that coming off the edge. But I would also like Parsons because I think Parsons can do the same thing. Plus, he could play middle with Blake Martinez and be like multiple positions, like Patrick Graham likes. And that's one of the things they're saying is versatility is the biggest thing with Joe Judge. Like, what else can you do other than one thing?
Right, Tim. Let me read. Jamar Chase is a bust. His comment. Let me explain why I think Jamar Chase is a bust. Doesn't create any separation between corners in college. If he can't do that in college, is he going to do that in the NFL? No. Waddle route running pure and separate. I agree with him. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be a bust, but I like Waddle over him. Specifically
Chase has the NFL body.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, guys, Justin Jefferson tore up this year in NFL. He was the number 2 behind Chase on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you a little something talent-wise. And is he going to separate as much as Waddle? No, because he doesn't have that kind of speed.
Mm-hmm.
But he also has the body to get contested catches.
So right.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
He's more slider. If a few things go the Giants' way, and say we have 4 quarterbacks that go, possibly 5 quarterbacks go. I don't doubt 5 will go in the top 10.
If all it takes is that the number 4 go to quarterback, and that 5 is absolutely going in the top 10.
That could happen as well. If that is the case, the Giants are in prime mode to get their number one guy on their board while still trading back.
Oh, I agree, and I'm all for trading back. As much as James gives me garbage, and if you listen to the drafts before or our shows before that draft with the Saquon trade, I was all about trading back.
Mm-hmm.
I just got over the Saquon pick where Captain Negative has not. Captain Negative is still mad about it.
To this moment.
To actually this morning when he was put up another article saying it was a bad pick.
2 years later.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But you know what? I'm absolutely with you. I mean, I think the ideal thing would be awesome if it's actually one of the quarterbacks slips past 10. And if let's say Trey Lance, for example, or Justin Fields, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
If they're there at 11, we're a prime trade person right there. Especially if like Patriots haven't traded up like they're talking about doing.
Yeah, this is true.
So we can go down to 15 and still get a top 10 player. And that's the thing is like, do I want them to know? But you know how bad our secondary would be if we have a number one corner? We have technically 3 number one corners,
right?
And still have Darnay, he's good as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's the thing is we'd be set up too. Is if Brad Ray retired, fine, you just move over so and Adoree Jackson will be here for 4 years as long as he's not garbage
and stays healthy.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't be bad at. And the thing is, if our secondary can cover, that gives more time to get sacks. And especially because let's be honest, we're going 3 safety. Look, we're having Logan Ryan, McKinney, which we didn't even get to really see for a full season. It's on for a game.
Yeah.
And you're going to have Peppers. One of those guys is going to be playing technically cornerback. Or not cornerback, linebacker, excuse me. They're going to be playing that linebacker safety, which pretty much I think it's going to be Peppers.
Probably.
So, as far as all these linebackers, we don't need tons. I understand that. But it would be nice to have because the problem is if Martinez goes down, who the hell goes in the middle? And that's the thing. If we had Parsons, we'd have both of them. Our linebacker crew would be set up. And heaven forbid Martinez goes down, Parsons can move in the middle.
Yeah, what if Collins and then Zimenez?
Well, as far as I'm going to tell you right now,
I don't know.
I'm hoping Lorenzo Carter and Zimenez play well. Do I expect them to do anything, either one of them? No, because Carter showed flashes, but he got hurt. Menez has done crap. So you know what? It's been that's their make or break year anyway, because I think they're in the contract year.
Yeah.
And as far as the offensive line, I'm gonna tell you right now, the guy that's gonna look 10 times better next year because he's in a contract year, and that's how they play it. Will Hernandez.
Do you think? Rookie year he did well, and step down both years.
Well, they said a lot of it is because they like the way Lemieux pulls, and that was a lot of the reason Hernandez would sit out plays because Lemieux is better at pulling. And that's the other thing. Lemieux's only going in his second year as well, and he didn't play horrible for a rookie. Nick Gates was in his first year at center.
Yeah,
but
people like Nick Gates more like the type of player he is. Like he doesn't take anyone shit. He's feisty. He fights back, stuff like that. But it's not like
he's already a leader. The way I look at it, his second year was undrafted guy, and which they believe in him because they gave him an extension. So obviously, he's a leader on that team. So let him lead. That's the kind of offensive line you want.
Yeah.
So who did you want, Marco? I never even heard.
I think
for the number one.
I want Parsons.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think
The only reason being is just like you said, man, is the wide receivers.
yeah.
We can get the wide receivers second round.
I
As
know.
much as I do, but I wouldn't hate it. Let's get it at 3. I'll put that out there. I'm not going to be mad for 3 years and be like, we overvalued the wide receiver at 11 because Waddle would be sick because that'd be speed for days. Devontae Smith, I'm a big Marvin Harrison fan, and that's who they compare him to. And I wanted Chase. I want Chase, but I know that's not going to happen. There's no way Chase is going to do 11.
A lot of people have Bateman as their best receiver in this class.
Oh, I think Bateman's got all the tools because he's got size. He's smooth. I don't really understand why he's 5th ranked.
Right.
Other than he went to Minnesota and he wasn't seen as much.
Yeah, I think I would like Parsons. I wouldn't be mad at a few picks. I wouldn't be mad at Waddle or if any like a Pitts or a.
What about J.C. Horn? That rumor.
I don't know. I can't. I think he's a good player. I think Surtain's a good player as well, but I can't see them going corner.
I can't see him going corner either. I really the Giants and you can speak to this since Gettleman's been GM. They don't leak. They don't leak their picks.
Right. Yeah.
So the fact that all these guys are linked to these guys,
they don't leak the pits, but there have been a few beat writers that knew who they were going to take. Like,
you can figure it out because it's like stalkers outside the house.
Right.
They're like, oh, I see who came in. I mean, you can deduct for the most part who they should take.
This is true too. Yeah, I think it's Parsons, and if supposedly the rumor is that Gettleman is in love with him.
Yep, and if that's the case, that's why I saw that. I made sure James saw that because I was like, because I wanted him to be like, you know what? The only reason we got Parsons is because of Gettleman.
The savior.
Yeah, there's the savior. As much as he rips them apart, I'm gonna laugh if the Parsons is the pick because I'm gonna text James the minute it happens.
So yeah, Judge, but supposedly Judge likes who was it? Was it Chase or was it Smith? Smith, right?
Yeah, he likes Smith.
So I don't know who's calling the shots.
Well, it sounds like Joe Judge is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And the thing is, Devontae Smith, I like, but he's so skinny.
166, isn't it?
Yeah, he's so skinny, which isn't a huge deal. But the only thing I'm thinking is, when's he getting on the field? Is he starting over Shepard? No. Would you start him over Slayton? I don't think you should. The only 4 wide receiver sets we're having Devontae Smith out there, or when people wanted to get a breather.
And that's someone you're taking with the 11.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Is like
when Dave Gettleman said, what was it? The press conference? Well, last Thursday.
Yeah,
that it should be an everyday player.
Oh, 11 players should be an impact player. Period. The second round player should be at least a starter.
Right. Yeah. But you can't draft someone. You can't draft someone and have him wind up being like the 5th, 4th wide receiver on the team.
I'm trying to think who would be a surprise pick that everybody would snap at.
That people will go crazy?
Yeah.
Take
a running back. Take Najee Harris.
Take a cornerback.
Honestly, the one that scares me is I think he'd be all right, but I don't think he's worth the 11 is Kwity Paye. I don't think he's worth the 11. I know Will is all about Well, he's high on the PFF grade, but
loves the PFF.
loves. I just want to put out there, Jack. His boy was on my side. I just want to put.
we will note that. We will note that. Yeah.
But the thing is with the draft. One, I hope they trade back. I really think this. If you're going to trade back any year, do it this year because you're going to get a top. As long as you trade down within the top, let's say 17 or something like that, you're going to get a top 10 pick because you got to fit 5 quarterbacks in there. And let's say 5 quarterbacks, 2 offensive linemen, which the 2 tackles we don't need, and they're not going to take because we just spent a tackle. Granted, if Sewell dropped to us out of nowhere, they would take him. I would think he's just too good a player. Slater reminds me of Justin Pugh.
Slater reminds you of Justin Pugh, who was decent.
He was decent. But when did he get drafted? In the 20s. Yeah. He didn't get drafted 11.
Was it that? No, was it the 20s? I think it was a little higher than that, actually.
I think at the most it was 19, but at the very most it was 19. But I think it was like in the 20s, if I remember correctly.
I hate players. I hate Surtain, Ojolari, Pay, and Bateman. All right.
You said he hate?
Yeah. I don't get that Slater. I don't get the hate that Slater gets. I don't think.
There's no hate.
They have a tackle off the board.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be second tackle off the board, and some people supposedly said Slater would go first. I don't believe that, but I think Sewell, Slater. Yeah, I mean, if the draft goes the way we know it's going to go, so it's 5 quarterbacks are going to go, hopefully before we pick. Then you got 2 off. Then you got 2 tackles. Then we can trade back quite a bit and still get a great player. As far as like top player in that position.
Do you think Soldier could play anywhere else besides right tackle and left tackle?
No.
I think he would go to guard, right?
No, he's too big.
Yeah.
He's 6'8". Yeah, he's not. He can't fit it. That's the problem with Pert. Pert can't go to guard because he's just as big as Soldier.
Yeah. That's
the thing is, we got Hernandez, we got Lemieux, both experienced. I know they didn't play the greatest, but Lemieux was a rookie, and Hernandez was learning a new system. So we have guards, and then they just. I swear they signed like somebody that they. I would have to look at the roster. They signed like somebody like, like a journeyman. Like some journeyman that could possibly, fight for guard. I think we got our center.
I don't remember. It's escaping me now. Tim, I'm going to wind it up anyway, my friend.
All right. That's cool.
Dave Hernandez. Should we draft defensive line or wide receiver? The jury is out. I think it's going to be. I don't know.
I've never seen so many rumors about the Giants ever, as far as who they're going to take. I used to hear like 2, maybe 3 players at the most.
Yeah, now
I've seen like the whole draft. It all really just matters. We're literally like with our hands out, just being like, what's going to drop to us?
Yeah, I've seen credible journalists and reports and everyone having us go multiple players. Parsons, Waddle, Smith, Chase, Phillips, Horn, Slater.
The only one that had said Horn was Peter Schrager, and you said it on the last show. He's not right. He's not right on Giant stuff.
Yeah, he's always wrong. But these are like credible. He still is credible.
Yeah, he's credible. He's hearing something.
Who else?
But I tell you though, when I talked to Graziano years ago, you remember when I used to get on him with on Twitter, and he'd always use my questions and crap on when he was with Giants beat reporter.
Okay.
But so I was BSing with him on Twitter, and I was like, what are these rumors? He's like, the last month we don't know what's real and what's not, because you don't know if it's execs feeding you BS or it's real, because they're just trying to put stuff out there. So especially, I think Philly wants somebody, because I keep seeing the rumor of they want to trade up for Waddle. I think they want somebody else, and they're just putting that smoke screen out there.
Yeah, I saw the Waddle rumors as well. You think it's someone else, and that's the smoke screen?
Yeah.
It's so tough when they're coming from multiple places.
The more I looked at it, though, I'm with you. I think I take Waddle over Devontae Smith.
Just because of this, I think the skill set would work well with Shepard, and Galladay and Slater. I think he would fit in.
I agree too, because I think Waddle you can throw in the backfield if you
Right.
had to, mess around with plays and
And
stuff
Ross.
like that.
And Ross too. I think.
Well, that's the other thing. John, we keep forgetting you got John Ross, who, as much as people want to bag on him, he's a former first-round pick, and he's fast as hell.
Yeah.
And we still have other guys on the roster that can play at least decent. They had a lot of experience come last year because our wide receiver core was so battered.
All right, Tim. That's it. That's my last yawn. I can't do it.
No problem, man. I just wanted to hop on quick anyway.
Yeah, no problem. All right, Tim. I will talk to you tomorrow. And everyone else, I'll see you guys in the comments. Thank you for listening in and watching and all that. And 2 days away. Peace out.